let's go ahead and begin. Welcome. It's January 20th, 2026 to Town of Littleton Conservation Commission hearing, and we are on remote. What we're going to go ahead and do first is approve the minutes from January 6th, 2026. So there's a error on that. Okay. Anyone have any omissions or corrections? I have a couple. Who wants to go first if they have any? Okay, I'm going to go first. On the first page, under Enforcement Order 359 King, at the last sentence, it says continue to January 20th. I'd like to say that continue to a future date. Underneath that, 15 Countryside, at the end, there was no mention of a waiver. I'd like to add a waiver was requested and continued to the next meeting. I'd like to add that. On the third page, discussion of current and future land use town-owned parcels, at the second to last paragraph, it says the commission stated that there will not be an opening for anyone to install a dock who wishes, and it says there will be a finite number of docks allowed. I would like to change will to could, so there could be a finite number. And those are my changes. Anybody have anything else? If not, can we have a motion to accept?
I'll make a motion at the... Oh, sorry, Ed, did you get it?
Yeah, I was just under the wire. You can say it if you want, and I'll second it, however you want to do.
You got this, Ed. You got this.
So we still need a second.
Happy to second.
Okay, perfect. Andrew, can you help us with the roll call vote, please?
Absolutely. Roll call vote. Carl.
Carl Melberg, aye.
Ed.
Ed Fulta.
Kyle.
Maxfield, aye.
Chase.
Chase Garbig, aye.
Sarah.
Sarah Seward, aye.
And myself, aye. It is unanimous.
Okay, great. Let's go ahead. Does anyone have any additions they would like to add to administrative discussions? Okay, if not, let's go.
I would like to add just a question about Powers Road and Mr. McGagan.
Okay.
Did we finalize that?
I will add that to that list. So, okay, let's go ahead and get started. First discussion, Wickham Ave vegetation clearing. Where do we want to? Is anyone here?
So we have a lot of the property owners here tonight with us, and let me just give a brief recap on this. So a couple months ago, we were alerted to some vegetation that had been cleared immediately adjacent to a perennial stream. And I'm going to share my screen here just to make it easier for everybody to see what I'm talking about. So everybody can see this?
Yep.
Perfect. Zoom out a little bit. So this is the stream right here. And there's two ponds right here as well. So this is old, sorry, I'm gonna scroll down. So here you can see this is all floodplain. And this imagery from earlier last year in August shows the vegetation at that time. And the next slide shows the vegetation that's been cut. It mostly looks like it was just brush that was cut and grass. Although I will note that there appear to be some trees over in this area that used to be here that were removed, and maybe over here as well. Speaking with some of the property owners, so as you can see, this area, the property lines are very funky. So this vegetation cutting actually spanned 7 properties. And after speaking with the property owners, the understanding is that this vegetation has not been cut annually, but it has been cut many times over the course of the last decade or so. And so mailed a letter to the property owners asking if they can come in tonight and talk with the commission about this and historically what's happened in this area. And so we've got a bunch of them here tonight. No enforcement order has been issued at this point.
Okay, great. For those in attendance tonight pertaining to Wickham Ave, if you want to speak, all you have to do is raise your hand and state your full name and your address. I would like to thank everyone for sending in. I think there were 7 that were sent in. And so what I'd like to do before we take questions is I'd like to just have a discussion with conservation commissioners so that we can give feedback to those that are in attendance, if you'd like to do so. Commissioners?
Is it wetland, designated wetland, or is it within certain
It's-
distance?
Yeah.
So it's floodplain, and it's all buffer zone as well. I mean, it's a perennial stream, so it has a 200-foot riverfront buffer coming off of it.
Right.
I didn't see the perennial stream. What was it? Does that run through the middle of it?
Yeah. I'll pull it back up here. Give me a second.
And so, and this was approved a very long time ago when it was put in. And so what they've been doing
Oh, gotcha.
is maintenance to kind of keep everything flowing. The bridge that's there did sustain some damage that was filled. I think, Tim, by asking everyone to do the historical information was really helpful for me because you're able to see that there was kind of a path forward to help keep the invasives down as well. I know for me going forward, it's nice that if they want to keep doing some of that work, just to kind of do it through the formal channels of applying for either an NOI and keeping us abreast of that. But other commissioners' feelings on that?
Is it just cutting any fill material?
I don't believe so. I didn't see any.
It's
So what
Okay.
exactly are they cutting out?
vegetation, invasives, trying to keep the stream flowing.
Some, based on the letters that we received as requested, removal of debris from the stream so that it doesn't overflow its banks and impact adjacent residences, things like that.
So, Sarah, I would kind of echo what you were saying a little earlier. I have been able to kind of familiarize myself with the site and the situation, and it certainly sounds like what's been happening periodically over the last 20 years or so is just, institutional maintenance for invasives and essentially just making sure that this stream is continuing to operate as it has been without creating a public safety or public health hazard. So like you'd mentioned, I think going forward, either an RDA or, some kind of mechanism to allow them to somehow keep this operational without impacting any property or, harming the environment, I think would be our best path forward. But yeah, I'm curious just to see what everybody has to say.
And
Andrew, I guess the bigger question is, do the landowners know that they're definitely invasives and that they're not cutting native vegetation? That would be my big question.
I think in some of those letters, they specifically stated a lot of the invasive species that was being taken out as well.
Do they know that they're invasive? Are they botanists? They know, they can tell the difference between the grasses. When it gets to the grasses and stuff like that, it's very, very difficult
Right.
to
That's a good question.
ID.
Yep.
my
Let's go ahead
question.
and have
Simple question.
Steve Venuti, if you had your hand up. So Steve, if you want to introduce yourself, please feel free.
You hear me?
Yep, you're all set. There you go, Steve.
Thank you. I thank the board for having us here tonight. I think the goal of all of us in the neighborhood is basically to leave this meeting with some better understanding of what we can do moving forward in the future that satisfies not only the homeowners here, but the board itself. If you can see from the letter that I sent in, and I know there was a lot of other households that sent in letters also, but I didn't see those, so I can speak to what I have. This goes back quite a while. This is back to the early 2000s. There was one spring in particular where there was a very heavy snowfall in that winter. The weather warmed up pretty quick, and then we had this big rainfall. And two of the houses right along that stretch where the road flattens out, their basements flooded because the stream overflowed. We hadn't done anything to that up to that point, but we knew we needed to do something. One of the owners, unfortunately, he doesn't live in that house anymore, met with the conservation. At that time, there was no agent in house. It was before Amy's time. I think there was like one agent that had one conservation commission member that had hours once a week or something. And he met with that person, and he said in his words that he wasn't very much of a help. And we were basically on our own to do something. And he went in and he cleared the stream. And I can tell you that if it was my basement that flooded, I'd do the same thing. And we didn't have a problem with it probably for the next 7 to 10 years. Things grow up very quickly in there, and the stream really gets flooded and it's impacted where it kind of just overflows on the sides all the time. So about 2011 or 2012 or somewhere in that neighborhood, we hired a contractor to go in and clear the stream because it was starting to overflow again. In the deeds that the landowners have, and I believe it was 6 or 7 of them, it says that it's up to us to maintain that. And that language that's in the deeds came from the original orders of condition from the original builder back in 1990, I think it was, with LNS construction. There's 3 pieces in that orders of condition that says that it's up to those homeowners. And I'll read the big one that says is applicants, owners, and their successors and assignees shall maintain all culverts, collection basins, traps, retention and detention ponds, outlet structures, replication areas, and other elements of any drainage system so as to prevent any failure of the system and or detrimental impacts to the affected resource areas. So that was in the original orders of condition from the Conservation Commission to LNS builders. And that's in the people's deeds. So in seeing that, and we didn't really get any answers from the Conservation Commission back then, we took it upon ourselves to maintain that stream. And one of the things along the way that we've done the past couple of years is trying to get rid of all the invasives that are there. And it is loaded with, what is it? Autumn olive trees all over the place in this development. There's bittersweet that just strangles everything. And there's, I don't know the name of it, but the thorny bushes that grow up there, all in that area. Right along the road, there's some nice trees that grew and they were being strangled by that bittersweet. So, I mean, as part of clearing the stream, we did take out the invasives that were there. Is it only invasives that were cut down? No.
All right, Steve, thank you for that. We've got to kind of keep going. So, commissioners, there's an opportunity here to perhaps in the spring or when there's better weather and not snow covered, for commission members with the agent to go out and walk with some of the neighbors and kind of pick a historic bound, and going forward, enhance the communication and figure out what type of filing you'd like to do going forward. Is something like that amenable to everyone? What would you like to do going forward?
It's my sense here, Sarah, that I do think we need to have a filing to memorialize this in perpetuity. One of the things that I came to understand from the letters is my understanding is there isn't an HOA, so everybody is in some ways working collectively, but in a legal sense independently. And I think having a single Wetlands Protection Act filing that applies to all of this could make sure everybody's on the same page, both with respect to us and the neighborhood and everybody within the neighborhood. I don't have a lot of problems, I would say, with the work that's been done. I would argue that we should think a little bit about maintaining a bit of a riparian corridor there of vegetation and things. But that I think could be worked out as we finalize this. Otherwise, I think we need to be careful not to, let's say, impose current standards on something that maybe today we wouldn't approve, and recognize that this is a project of 30 or more years ago. But in general, I do think we need a filing for it.
Okay.
Yeah. Hey, Sarah,
Yep.
that clause that was briefly read, it's in the deeds. I don't think that clause relates to the stream at all. I think it relates to, like it said, culverts, outlets, man-made stuff that's associated with the houses, and not so much to do with the perennial stream. So I think you should. I think you need to keep those two things separate, because I didn't hear anything in there in the brief reading that had anything to do with the stream.
And it sounds like collectively to have a meeting with all the stakeholders, and it could be council to review language of that as well. I do see, Ted, that you have your hand up. So if you'd like to go ahead and fill us in on something that we haven't already heard, that would be great.
Yeah, thanks, Sarah. I appreciate that. Yeah, just a couple points. I don't, and we don't have to argue this point. I guess I just want to clarify that it's not, according to my mapping that I saw, it's not flood zone. There are plenty of resource areas in there, but I just don't believe it's flood zone. As far as the man-made structures that we were just talking about, the stream appears now to be built up with banks that I put in my letter, that it seems that the contractor who built this tried to, or did build some banks to direct the water down towards the culvert that they built, and then it kind of flows more naturally. So if you come look at it, you'll see that when you're standing there, you can see that these banks are built up, and so that appears to be a man-made structure, although it is, a stream. And somebody said, what are the, who's out there for botanists determining some of these things? I don't know a lot of them. I put some in my letter that I used just looking at a directory for Massachusetts invasives and what I see out there. As far as, some other ones, multifloral rose obviously is out there. I've been bit by that enough times, and I've taken enough face plants on out in the field from bittersweet. So I understand that that's out there too. I do appreciate everything that the Conservation Commission is doing. I appreciate taking the time to meet this way. As far as a filing, my suggestion would be to sit down, maybe a couple of us, some of the homeowners, and a couple commission members, come up with some ideas, put that together in an RDA, and document the agreement at that point, because I feel that's an ongoing document. It's not something like a notice of intent that would expire. So that's just my understanding of the Wetlands Protection Act. That might be the way to go. But, obviously we want to move forward, and we want to, stay out of trouble and, be good citizens. So thanks for the time.
Ted, one thing I do want to hit on here, you had, I think, an important suggestion, which is essentially a group of homeowners. I think that would be the ideal outcome if all of the neighbors get together and agree on who can do that. But given that there is not an HOA, I don't think the commission could exclude someone. But if you guys collectively decided that, and those were the only people that showed up to the meeting, that would probably be okay. But we just have to be careful here that everyone who could be affected certainly has an opportunity to have a voice here. And if you all agree to speak collectively, that's great. I think that's efficient. But finding a way to do that would be best.
Sounds good. Whatever you think. There are 8 people who actually border this, who are, kind of the group of 8, but as we all act together. So I think that, us getting together in, a small group, getting together with a small group of the commission members, and we go back to our 2 sides, our 2 groups, and get everybody on board from the homeowners, and then we can meet with the commission members. I mean, yeah, whatever mechanism it is.
Yep. So we'll try and sort that out with Tim and Lauren and try and look at their kind of workload coming up and see how we can help facilitate that. And we'll get some commission members. Thank you all from Wickham Ave for joining us this evening. I hope that this has been productive for you all. Thank you.
Yep, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, we're gonna go.
So Sarah, just to
Yeah.
close the loop. So we're going to take this up in the spring when we can get out there and do a site visit. But for right now, we're tabling it. Is that essentially the plan?
Yes and no. I think we have to think about the trees that were removed, and we have to think if there's any type of enforcement with that. I think I'd like to not table it so much for the spring. I'd like to see when we can at least see ground, and then maybe some commission members can go out to see if we need to address tree removal.
Okay, and that makes good sense to me. So then I would suggest that the impacted, that the community right there, if you guys can get together and decide who might make sense to participate, that would be a good task. And then, whether it's 2 weeks or 4 weeks from now, presumably, hopefully at some point we can get out there without snow on the ground, although maybe that's March.
But to be clear, no one is excluded. So if you all say you all want to be involved, then you all be involved.
Exactly. Yep.
So we're not suggesting that you have to pick a representative.
Yep, for sure. Okay, let's go ahead. I'm going to wait on the 7:45. I'm going to go ahead because we've got some other people here for discussions. Let's go ahead and open the discussion for a non-permitted removal of muck at 6 and 8 Blood Road. Tim, if you want to do a quick overview for that, and we can see who is here in the attendees.
Sure. And yep. So we've got both John Scott and Irv Matheson here for this. A couple weeks ago, we were alerted by somebody of. So, for those who don't know, Forge Pond is in the period of the drawdown right now, so the lake levels are lower. We were alerted by somebody of a front end loader removing what looked like muck, what would typically be underwater. It happened during the person said that it happened during the weekend. So we went out to Forge that following week, and from across the lake, it was all snow covered. It's for the most part been snow covered since. But from the video that was shown, kind of gauge where it occurred. And so I reached out to both John and Irv, and I don't want to speak on their behalf, but got the sense that the leaves, the way that the wind blows on Forge Pond, the leaves all blow towards that end of the lake. And so they were removing leaves that piled up over time and muck as well. But I certainly don't want to speak on their behalf. I will promote them when you guys are ready.
Yep, I see first up on my list is Mr. Matheson. So if you want to, I'm going to go ahead and enable you to talk. So if you want to just introduce yourself and just let us know your address and just kind of give us a lay of the land of how this occurred and perhaps what has occurred.
Yeah, Irv Matheson, 2 Blood Road.
2 Blood Road. Okay, great. Can you fill the commission in on what happened?
Yep, I'd say what the guy said is was a good start. I would like to add a few things. The other thing is that it's the invasive leaves and stuff too. Not only weeds, rather, not only the leaves that is the problem. And they just every time all summer long the boats and the waves, the way the wind blows, it just keeps pushing it in and creeping up our small beach. And well, the water was down about 4 feet. We thought it might be a good opportunity to go in and get rid of the all the dead invasive weeds, because they all froze and stuff because they drained the lake, and also the weeds, and clean our beach up. So, just so it's more usable, it's not very usable, especially for, small children. They get totally, disgusted with the weeds and leaves stuck to them. But I guess, go ahead.
No, go ahead. Yep.
Okay. I guess it was a spur of the moment thing, and we should have thought a little bit more and asked for permits, and asked exactly what we could do and can't do. But the water was down 4 feet, so the machines weren't actually touching the water. And as they scooped the leaves out or whatever, it would leave like a pile in front of the machine and form like what they call a copper dam. So that, there was water free where we were actually working.
Okay, thank you for that. What I'd like to do is let the commissioners just ask you some questions if they have any.
Mr. Matheson, what the material that you removed, where did that go?
That's going on the cornfield under the power line, which we grow for cow corn, and also the hayland we grow for the hay or whatever for the cows.
Okay, so you're taking it completely off-site from where you removed it, right?
Yes.
Okay. Another question. We talked about removal. Can you describe for me what the removal was in terms of equipment and processes? Like, I guess I get the impression that this was mechanical equipment, not manual, but I just want to get clear on what we did exactly in how we did it to remove leaves and sediment.
Yep, it was a wheel loader and 6-wheeler dump truck. It was not like a 6-wheeler truck.
How many loads did you guys take out?
I don't know exactly how many loads, but I would guess about 70 yards.
I think that's all I've got for questions.
Okay. Other commissioners?
What was that? Oh.
Okay. Kyle, Carl, Andrew, anybody else have other questions for Mr. Matheson?
Feels like the only thing they maybe did wrong is not following the process. Cleaning out the built up leaves and so on and so forth. That doesn't sound bad. Unless I'm missing something.
I mean, dredging projects usually require, and this would be considered a dredging project, usually require pretty extensive controls. Impact on wildlife can be extensive, particularly in the winter months when turtles are ruminating in the sediment and mud there.
This would go beyond us in the sense of permitting for sure.
Yeah, this is Corps of Engineers.
Water quality or Army Corps. Yeah, that's the big difference to me.
So, this is obviously land underwater. I had asked Tim to try and connect with DEP. Did you have a chance to connect? I know that was just today, so I didn't think so.
Yeah, I reached out to a couple folks and I didn't hear back from any of them in time for the meeting. Okay.
Because as Kyle and Chase alluded, this is not something that we would have been able to permit ourselves. Okay. Any other questions for Mr. Matheson before we move on to Mr. Scott? Okay. Thank you. If you can stay on, we may have other questions for you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay. John Scott, are you on? I just promoted you to be able to speak.
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yep. Thank you. Can you introduce yourself and let us know your address, please?
John Scott, 8 Blood Road.
Okay. Great. I'm sure that you were just able to hear kind of like rendition of what occurred. Can you kind of walk us through your process?
Yes. Irv and I worked together to clean out the weeds that fill up our cove. Just like he's just mirroring everything he says. It all blows into our corner, and we thought it'd be a good opportunity to clean it out while the ground was low and everything was very frozen. So all of the mud and leaves and weeds we were scooping up was frozen material, so there really wasn't any opportunity for anything to flow away or, you know, silt up the lake. And there was always a buffer of material between us and the water that never got any closer to water. It was always just taking stuff away.
Do you have any pictures of that to concur of that happened?
No, I do not have any pictures of that.
Okay. Whose equipment was it?
It was mine and Irv's equipment.
Okay. All right, commissioners, questions for Mr. Scott?
Are these abutting properties? I guess how big? So I guess material-wise, is this the same 70 yards that
Yes.
Mr. Matheson mentioned? The cumulative?
Yes. Yes, it is.
Thank you.
How many 6-wheel loaders did you guys, or 6-wheel dump trucks do you guys think you took out?
I don't know. Maybe we each have we had my 6-wheeler and his 6-wheelers, you know, maybe 10. So yeah, that 60 to 70-ish yards.
Quick question, both for Mr. Scott and Mr. Matheson. The access down to the water, everything's covered in snow right now. When that melts, what are we going to see in terms of getting the dump trucks down towards the water and things? Like, did you guys attempt to stabilize it in any way, or are we waiting till spring? What was your plan there?
It's actually a boat landing, so it's a road right down, gravel road right down to the lake.
Okay. And so the equipment, aside from, I guess my understanding is, aside from the excavator that was out working in the lake bottom, the trucks stayed on the gravel road?
It was John Scott's loader.
Okay.
And it wasn't an excavator. And the trucks stayed on the road, except for there was a truck that cut from another driveway over from the other boat landing. So came across the beach, not at all in the the wetlands.
Okay.
How did you determine where to stop, or what was removed? Was there a sand bottom? And you're talking this is a beach area, so was there natural sand? Where did you stop?
There's a hard gravel bottom, so it's very clear difference of where the mud and silt flows onto gravel. The sand is primarily only on the dry land area.
And how deep do you think you went there to get to that gravel bottom? On average, I'm sure it varied.
4 to 6 inches.
So if this is out of the purview of us, where does it go next? If there's nothing that we can do either to assist or enforce or whatever the case might be the right word.
I don't know if that's necessarily true. I just think that it's a
Well,
multi-tiered, a multi-leveled.
That if this was brought to us before it was done, that would be out of our purview. So that's the only I'm going by that.
Yeah,
I think to be clear, what we meant is that it wouldn't be solely in our purview.
Right.
Okay. Okay.
Right.
Sorry for.
No, it's a fair question. I will tell you that given this, I think there are two things that we need to do. One is, it's my opinion that we need to issue an enforcement order. I'm not sure that we can begin to talk about what restoration needs to look like because we can't see it. So the second thing is, and Tim, you have to remind me, or maybe others know, we need to be able to inspect the site and understand the extent of the impacts and things. And I can't remember with an enforcement order, it's different than a notice of intent where the filing gives us the ability to go look at it. But I would ask Mr. Matheson and Mr. Scott to give us permission to go take a look at the site once the snow melts.
Yeah, so if it's before an enforcement order gets issued, you would need permission to access the site. Once the enforcement order is issued, you do have, that is the permission.
Okay. Nonetheless, Mr. Matheson and Mr. Scott, it's always easier if we can agree that we'll just come on at a time that's convenient for you all.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can come on.
Yeah. So first step, getting back to Tim and to Chase, would be ratifying, and then simultaneously reach out to DEP to work with us collaboratively to know they would come out on the site, visit with us, or on their own accord.
So, Sarah, before I make this motion to issue an enforcement order, are the relevant addresses 2 and 6 Blood Road?
We had it posted as 6 and 8, but
I heard 2 and 8 tonight.
2 and 8, okay.
Yep. So up on the discussion where it was on the agenda was 6 and 8, and we're making a change to that, so it's 2 and 8. Is that correct?
Yeah, no, it's. Oh, I think, are you talking to me, Irv?
Yep. Yep.
It's also 6. So 2, 6, and 8.
Okay. So you're the owner of 2. So you're the owner of 2 and 6.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you for that. Okay.
And Mr. Matheson, I see when I look at the map that 2, it looks like the stream runs along 2 before it enters or exits the lake. Were you guys working on maybe this distinction is hard to sort out, but were you working in the stream or were you working in the lake in the cove, or were you working in both?
Not at all by the stream. We're on the other side.
Okay, so this is the cove that's essentially, as I look at a map here, sort of the corner of 6 and adjacent to 8.
Yeah.
Okay.
Could I have a quick question?
Yes.
Yep.
Could this be considered work under Friends of Forge Pond, Dredge, and Lake Down drawdown order of conditions?
Their order of conditions doesn't allow a scope of work like this.
No, because I was reading one of them and it said that there was suction dredging allowed or talked about. Sorry.
So, John, they do have one order for the removal of invasive species, aquatic invasive species. And in there's permitted removal of X amount. I think it's only 99 cubic yards, which I believe they met that limit last year through various methods like what you said, suction harvesting, and other physical removal forms. But they were limited to that 99 cubic yards and told if they want to go higher than that, they have to get an additional permit from the state for water quality certification.
And just as a matter of technical precision, suction harvesting, a very different scope of impacts than mechanical removal with a loader.
Okay. Okay. Where would we like to go? Yep. Go ahead.
I would move that we issue an enforcement order for the work described at 2, 6, and 8 Blood Road.
As a point of order, can we separate and have 2 separate ones? One for 2 and 6 that belongs to the Mathesons, and then have one for 8 that belongs to John Scott.
Sure. So I'll withdraw my motion. So let me make the first motion. I move that we issue an enforcement order for 2 and 6 Blood Road for the aforementioned sediment and leaf debris removal activities.
Second on that.
Before we dive into this, I hate to throw a wrench into this. legally moving forward, I'm just trying to look at our framework here because I know that there's an alleged video material being removed. We've got the testimony tonight, but do we have like hard evidence with the snowfall over the site to move forward with an enforcement order? I'm just trying to err on the side of caution here. I know we're trying to be proactive, but do we have enough to go on to?
Meaning what? That we could actually see that something was done?
Yeah, because right now, if we were on site, would we be able to tell what was removed? You know what I mean? Like, I'm just a little weavy gravy on the
But it's
ground there.
under testament that they removed it. It's not like it's stockpiled where you'd be able to see it. It's already been removed, and that's subject to land underwater.
And the owners did admit that they removed it, so there's maybe no question about the fact that it was done.
Which, to be clear, was the right choice, right? Like when the snow melts, we'll see it in any case. So
yeah, no, I'm not saying that.
But yeah, I think Andrew, based on what we've heard, I'm comfortable in issuing an enforcement order.
Okay, so currently on the floor, we have a motion for 2 and 6 Blood Road. Do we have a second?
You seconded it.
Who did?
You did.
You did.
Okay.
All right, roll call vote. Kyle?
Maxfield, aye.
Sarah?
Sarah Seward, aye.
Ed?
Ed Foltz, aye.
Chase?
Chase Gerbeck, aye.
Myself, aye. It's unanimous.
Very good. And then I would move that we issue an enforcement order for the aforementioned sediment and debris removal associated with 8 Blood Road.
Can I add something to that?
There's a motion on the table. We'll give you a chance to speak, but like, just let that motion.
I just wanted to add invasive weeds to that motion.
I'm happy. Well, I don't.
Yep.
I don't know that it was invasive weeds. I'm going to stick with the language.
Keeping the words the same, I would make a motion to edit that both motions need to be kept the same.
If you look at any of the things on the forage pound, the drawdown order of condition.
No, Mr. Scott, you're out of order. Okay. So currently we have to follow protocol. We have a motion that is on the floor. The commissioners would then have an opportunity to make edits to that if they choose.
My apologies.
Chase, coming back to you.
I think I used the same language for both of them. I don't remember exactly what I said, but I don't think it's germane right now that we sort out these specifics. We will when we get to it. Certainly, we know that there was sediment removal. We know that there was vegetation removal. Whether or not they were invasives, I don't know. And we know that in Forge Pond, there are places with invasives and there are places without. So I'm not comfortable opining on whether or not they were invasive or not.
So we need someone to second a motion.
Second.
Okay, thank you.
All right, roll call vote. Kyle?
Kyle Maxfield, aye.
Sarah?
Sarah Seward, aye.
Ed?
Ed Foltz, aye.
Chase?
Chase Gerbeck, aye.
Myself, aye. It is unanimous.
I didn't vote, Andrew.
Oh, sorry, Carl. You're hiding in my corner here. Carl.
Okay. So going forward, I think it's understood that you'll be receiving something in the mail. We just ask that no additional work be done to this area. Tim will be in contact with you when the weather is a little bit more favorable to be able to see the grounds and the property. And we're under obligation to try and connect with DEP to follow through as well.
Sarah, can I add to that I think one of my core expectations here is that we empower Tim once he get eyes on it and the weather starts to clear, even enough to put sediment and erosion controls out there, that we do that, and that the property owners are expected to stabilize the upland areas. That could mean, depending on the timing, that could mean straw, that could mean erosion mats. It sort of depends on what the impacts are, but I'd like to empower Tim and Lauren to sort that out with the
Okay. Okay, we have to move on. All right. Thank you. All right. So we're going to go ahead and open. It's now 8:15. We're going to go ahead and open the 7:45 continued public hearing, notice of intent, 0 Whitcomb Ave, DEP 204-1031, Habitat Enhancement Project. This was brought forth to us, again, carried over because they did not have the DEP number. So they do have the DEP number, and so we're looking to finalize this notice of intent. Tim, all yours.
Yep. So, like you said, Sarah, my understanding, and I wasn't at the last meeting, although I did watch the video, is that there was the commission was comfortable with this, just waiting on the DEP number.
Okay.
And my recollection is we told the applicant that they didn't really need to be here either.
Yeah, Matt was, or Scott wasn't going to be here, but Matt said he was going to try to be here, but he had something come up, so he's not here. But he said if you guys had any questions and, for whatever reason you couldn't close, he's fine with if it gets continued one-on-one.
Tim, did they reach out about the dock by chance?
The dock?
The dock on site. Am I looking at the wrong property?
This is 0 Whitcomb.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yep. So 0 Whitcomb.
No docs there.
And when we had all the commissioners at the last hearing, we didn't have questions on that and had a favorable review to issue this. So going forward, if we have someone that would like to make a motion.
I move that we close the public hearing and issue the order of conditions for 0 Whitcomb Road, Mass DEP file number 2041031.
Mm-hmm. Do we have a second?
Second.
All right. Roll call vote. Carl.
Tom Albert, aye.
Ed.
Ed Fultz.
Kyle.
Maxwell.
Chase.
Chase Beerbig, aye.
Sarah.
Sarah Seward, aye.
Myself, aye. It is unanimous. Carl, I got you first this time because I'm like, oh, he's in the corner.
I figured that was the case.
Okay, we're going to go ahead. It's 8:17. We're going to open up the 8 o'clock continued public hearing. Notice of intent, 242 King Street, DEP 204-1030. Removal existing driveway, pool and walk, construction of parking lot and walkway. I see that Bruce is here. Anyone else that would like to be promoted to panelist? Bruce, Bruce, anyone else joining you?
I'm trying to get my video to work, but no.
Okay.
So hang on one second. I just gotta make sure everybody's plugged in. Don't know why my video is not working. There we go. Hi, technology. Good evening, folks. Very sorry about 2 weeks ago. Too much going on that evening. I apologize.
Yeah. For the commissioners, just a reminder, in the previous meeting, Green International had submitted the memorandum, which Tim forwarded on to us. I don't know if people still have their notes, but okay. Bruce, it's all yours.
Okay. Did you all have a chance to read and review the Green International? Did it raise any questions? Are you good to go? Bottom line is we had multiple discussions with Green International. As that shows, we had a Zoom meeting with both Tim and Lauren and Warren and Cooper, folks from our office, and James Thorne from Green International. We reviewed through the approved drainage calculations and designs from CDM Smith for the wastewater treatment property, which is part of this property, whereby they had prepared for their drainage basins were oversized and sized to accommodate 1 inch times the impervious area for the site. Based upon those reviews, Green International agreed that the addition of the review the removal rather that we're asking for under this notice of intent of the pool and the pool house and decking, further brings the sizing of the drainage on the adjacent property into more compliance, and there's even more free space available. And Green International agreed that putting a ponding drainage area adjacent to the driveway was unnecessary. And by not having that there, we're doing less disturbance on the site. And we have, from a standpoint of vegetated overland flow, in most areas, 80 to 90 some odd feet from the edge of the proposed driveway to the edge of the wetlands. And with that, we hope that the commission has had a chance to review the plan. I can bring it up on the screen if you like, with the basin removed. But the same as the drive before, except we've taken the basin out and the contours just grade right back gently to the lawn. And hoping for approval to do the above. Thank you.
I'm generally good with it. I appreciate the time that everybody spent, both Bruce, you and your team, and Green, sorting this out. A couple very, I think, minor nits. My understanding, and I wasn't at the December 2nd meeting, but my understanding from the minutes was that there were a couple things that we were asking for in the revised plan set. One was demarcation or specification of a snow storage area, and if it's there somewhere and I've missed it, I apologize, but I didn't see that called out. I would suggest that we make that a condition if we approve it, that the applicant needs to specify a snow storage area to the satisfaction of the agent.
Can I ask a question relative to that?
Sure.
If they're plowing it, it's very easy and straightforward. If they're using a snow blower, it's going to be evenly spread around the yard.
Fair enough. I think our bigger concern is not so much with the snowblower because it is spread around, but if it's going to be all plowed into one place in a consistent manner.
Fair enough. I would suggest to be plowed right off the straight end of the drive.
That's what I would think too, and I think making that clear rather than plowing it off towards Beaver Brook probably makes the most sense. Probably makes the most sense from a plow.
We're happy with that as a condition.
Condition, do you want it noted on the plan or a sign? Chase?
I mean, sure. If Bruce can put it on the plans, that's great. I mean, I think it's got to be on the as-builts too. So the as-builts are what's really going to control in terms of.
I was just going to say, why don't we put it on the construction record plan?
Yep.
Okay.
Make it a condition. We'll show it on the construction record plan.
Okay, any other commissioners have any questions? Comments?
Time to add one more thing. The planning board chose to have us withdraw from the stormwater management because of this review as well.
Oh, interesting. Okay. I mean, if we're good, I'm happy to make a motion. Are you looking for one, Sarah?
Yes, please.
Okay. I've moved that we close the public hearing and issue an order of conditions for 242 King Street, Mass DEP file number 2041030.
Second.
All right, roll call vote. Chase.
Chase Gerbeck, aye.
Kyle.
Kyle Maxfield, aye.
Sarah.
Sarah Seward, aye.
Ed.
Ed Foltz, aye.
Carl. Oh, Carl, you're on mute.
Carl Melberg, aye.
And myself, aye. It is unanimous.
Okay, great. Thank you, Bruce.
Thank you for your time. Good night.
Thank
you. Good
night. Before we jump into the next hearing, I'd like to start to tick off just one more on administrative discussions, 15 Countryside. That was the looming and seating. The only thing we were waiting for was the waiver, which you'll see was submitted by Mark Arnold. Tim, anything else we need for that?
Not that I know of. Mark isn't here tonight, but I think in the attendees, we have someone named John. I think that is John Reese, who's the property owner, if there are any questions.
I think based on the last meeting, when everyone was in attendance with this, we all agreed that this was the final bit to move forward with this.
Yeah, I have a quick question on the waiver though. So I see the letter that Mark did they fill out our extra waiver? Is this acceptable for our waiver? What I'm just crossing some T's here.
Yeah,
it seems like you went through more of an effort.
That was what was submitted for the waiver request. Yeah, you're right. It's not the standard waiver. As
long as you're comfortable with that, doesn't matter to me. It seems to have the appropriate information, and I just want to make sure it doesn't wrinkle.
We could, if there's a motion that someone would like to make, they can state that the waiver is accepted in this format, and that a new one, another one will be filed in addition to it.
So this was the property that I meant to ask about the dock for, Tim. Has anything, sorry about that earlier. I don't know what it was.
No, it's all good. They had, based on the minutes that they were going to go through with, they acknowledged that they were going to go ahead. Mark Arnold said that, and John, that they were going to go through and get the dock permitted with the help of Tim and Goddard.
Can we make that a condition?
That should be a condition, for sure.
Perfect.
Then that gives them some time to sort it out, but also it'll eventually get done.
Yep.
If I might, where do we condition that? Like in just
what are we
a letter of approval?
Because this isn't an NOI, right? What are we doing here?
True. There really isn't any teeth. It's a discussion.
I mean, these folks are our neighbors. Like I guess I'm comfortable enough here that people who are going to do what we said that they're going to do.
Well, to be fair, well, I mean, if you want to split hairs, if they start doing the work and they don't have the dock permitted, you can stop all the work.
Right. Sure.
You can do a cease and desist and make them go through everything. So you do have, an arm to fall on it if need be, but I don't anticipate that.
Yeah, I just don't see that being a problem.
I can write it up in our administrative approvals that we document and write it in there as well.
Yep.
And provide a copy to John.
Okay, perfect. Great.
Sounds good.
So do we need a vote?
Yeah, still not sure what we're approving.
I would because you're issuing a waiver.
So we're issuing a waiver, but not a notice of intent. Okay, cool. I'm with you. I think that's the right idea. I move that we issue approval for the property owners of 15 Countryside to proceed with the proposed work under the local waiver.
Do we have a second?
All right, roll call vote. Carl.
Carl, you're muted.
Carl Melber guy.
Ed
Foltz, aye.
Kyle.
Maxfield, aye.
Chase
Kirby guy.
Sarah
Seward, aye.
And myself, aye. It is unanimous.
Okie dokie. All right, it's 8:28. We're going to go ahead and open the 8:15 continued public hearing. Notice of intent 87 Tehadawon, DEP 204-1027, construction of a two-family residence. To be noted on this, Chase, you can comment, but you cannot vote. Okay. Let's see, Brian, you are here. If you can introduce yourself and fill in all the gaps of where we left from the last meeting.
Yeah, absolutely. So Brian Marchetti here, McCarty Engineering. John Plifka from my office was attended the last meeting. But we've gone over all the outstanding items and the questions you guys had. We have provided an updated plan to the commission. If you want me to share that can
Yep.
show you.
And Brian, when you are referencing the ticket items that we had, there were 5 of them. So are you prepared to kind of like talk through each one?
Yes.
Okay, great. Go ahead.
Yep. All right. All right. Can you see the plan?
Yes.
All right. So, the items that we've addressed here, you can see the erosion control line was, so here was moved outside of the 50-foot buffer zone. So this dash line here is now completely outside of the 50-foot. So we don't require a waiver for that. We just modified the grading slightly, pulling it back. We've added, modified the note from a duplex. It's now proposed single family with an ADU unit. Boulders here have been placed as a demarcation line outside of the 50-foot, which will prevent future encroachment from the residents here on the property into the 50-foot. The notes on the site plan here have been modified. So we have pertaining to the evergreen trees. So where is it here? So one tree approximately 12 inches DBH will be removed between the 50-foot and 100-foot buffer zones, and a minimum of 5 native evergreen trees will be planted on the property. Trees shall be a minimum variety of 2 of the following species. So eastern red cedar, eastern hemlock, white spruce, or balsam fir. They're all native species that are readily available. And it would be much bigger, more substantial trees. And I believe last time in discussion, you guys were opposed to, we didn't know if the homeowner would plant arborvitaes or something like that. But these are much bigger specimen of trees. And then the final change was note number 7. Snow storage will be provided on the northern side of the driveway. So that just references it won't be on the wetland side of the driveway. It'll be on the northern side of the driveway here. So I believe those are all the questions that were brought up that we addressed on the revised plan.
What mechanism? I'm sorry. Maybe I should have shut up.
So was there a specific question?
Yeah, I've already started. I'll finish. What mechanism do you have to ensure that the snow doesn't go on the wetland side of the driveway?
There is no mechanism. I mean, once somebody lives there, it's kind of, I think that was kind of a hard request to put on the plan. You could always make it a condition, but short of just notifying the abutters that that's what they're supposed to be doing. I don't know how that's something you'd ever be able to police.
I apologize. Did I just miss this? I was just looking while you were speaking. Brian, the 5th order was boulders added to demarcate an undisturbed area in perpetuity along the buffer line. Are they there?
Yep. So there's a note here. Proposed boulders placed 20 to 25 feet apart to demarcate the 50-foot buffer.
Okay, super. I was just trying to read the notes and listen to you at the same time. Thank you.
Yep, those are there.
Ryan does raise a good point. I tend to like to see things like snow storage also memorialized as a condition, because the condition will get attached to the deed, and at least it's a little easier for a homeowner to see it compared to a note on a plan.
No, I understand. I've got a problem with this project anyway, since they kind of went around the backside to get this thing in. So.
Okay, so we're only here for the wetlands.
I know.
We're not here
Do any other commissioners have any questions for Mr. Marchetti?
I think so.
Mary Ellen, I see that you're here. If you have any questions, just raise your hand. Hold on just one second.
Hi, thank you very much, Mary Ellen Lyons, 79 Tadawon Road. I know the last time, because it still had said duplex, someone had raised the question about the permitting and I'm not sure what the square footage is of that ADU now. But I know there was a lot of discussion at the last planning board meeting about, ADUs and the definition and half the size of the main. I know they're working on verbiage to get it, at the town meeting in May. But I guess I would just ask, I'm not sure that actually meets the definition. And I know you had said it a couple of meetings ago that if this plan was going to change at all, then it wouldn't be approved.
Well, and I'm sympathetic to you. I think I've made that pretty clear. Unfortunately, as has been reminded, we're only here to protect the wetlands.
Right. No,
not
I
to
understand
stop
that, but I
them
just
from
know you said
jamming in
that.
a house that doesn't belong there.
Yeah, I thank you. I just wanted to, I know you had said that if it was going to change at all, even slightly. So just wondering if it had been I think you guys were looking for some sort of permit last time, or I thought on the Affordable Housing Trust meeting previously, they said that they were going to meet with the building commissioner or something like that. So I didn't know if that happened. That's all. Thank you.
I will note here, Mary Ellen, there's nothing about should the Conservation Commission approve this. There's nothing about that prejudices other boards from taking whatever action they need. Okay. And if the Conservation Commission approves it, that doesn't mean that there are approval from things like Board of Health or zoning or something like that.
Yeah, so I guess the biggest concern is because they're saying Habitat can't move forward if it's a single family. And if somehow this land were to end up with somebody else, does that waiver then transfer over to whoever else may have this property? That's the concern is just that this plan won't, as it is currently, how it looks right now, that they wouldn't be able to sell a single family with an ADU to two different families, which is what they were saying they would need to do to make this financially viable. So I was just concerned then they're going to sell it to some builder and they're still going to have these waivers. That's all. I was just concerned about that.
So Mary Ellen, the changes that might happen if this were to change, right, and what we're permitting is what's in front of us. If this were to change to, let's say, two family, this is just me guessing here, but most likely things like septic systems change, although this may have already been designed for a larger footprint. But you'll notice that the septic system is up to the top left of the plan, which is outside of the resource area. So we have jurisdiction within, in this case, within 100 feet of those, those WF flags there. So to the extent that the change that they might propose is outside of that and it doesn't have a corresponding impact within 100 feet, there's not a lot that we look at. Like in this case, we're not looking at the septic system because it's on the other
side. Yep. Okay. Thank you very much.
I know that's not a very satisfying answer.
No, it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you for your question.
Thank you.
Okay. With that said, where does the commission stand on this? Does someone wish to make a motion?
I'll make a motion that the commission close the public hearing for 87 Tadawon Road, DEP file number 204-1027, and issue an order of conditions.
Okay, do we have a second?
Second.
All right, roll call vote. Sarah.
Sarah Seward, aye.
Ed.
With reluctance, Ed Foltz, aye.
Kyle.
Kyle Mansfield, aye.
Carl.
Tom Lumberg, aye.
Chase.
Chase Gerbig, abstain.
And myself, aye. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Sorry, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in favor and 1 abstention. Sorry, I had to count screens.
Okay. Thank you. So the vote carries. Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you. Good luck.
Okay, so now we're going to jump back to administrative discussions. Let's jump into the CPC applications for herbicide treatment and lake management plan for Forge Pond and Long Lake. There were 4 separate items that were sent in your packet. You'll see those two referenced for each lake. Tim, can I pass this over to you?
Sure. So CPC meets tomorrow night, which I'm guessing I'm going to see you there, Andrew.
I'll be there, riding along.
Well, I'll be tuning in remotely, but yep, we submitted those 4 applications. I spoke with Carolyn Mueller. We're going to be, because we have, I think it's 7 or 8 separate CPC applications that we're going to be submitting the spring for all these lake items, and then boardwalks at Webster, boardwalk at Castle in the Trees, another one for terrestrial invasives. She recommended spacing them out and doing the lake ones earlier, since they may be more likely to be under scrutiny. And so we submitted those. Although if you guys have any suggestions on changes or things that you want to see edited, by all means, we can amend them, or I can discuss those changes tomorrow night.
The only thing that I would potentially adjust on a couple of them, because I noticed it was consistently, 32,000. I'm thinking we might want to go a little bit higher on a couple of those, just in case, the project runs over a little bit. Yeah. The only other thing that might be a potential issue, I don't think it will, is when CPC has a project before, and I didn't notice this until today, but the way the project is approved is first its eligibility as a eligible project is approved. That's a separate application because we just have straight up funding applications. I think we'll be all right. I don't think it'll be an issue.
So I did submit eligibility applications for all these as well.
Oh, perfect. Then we're golden. But yeah, I
didn't send them over to you guys because I thought there was not really a lot of meat to those things.
Perfect.
So I didn't think you guys would really want any changes on them. But yeah, I did submit those, Andrew. Yep.
Excellent. So yeah, other than that, I would just bump it, I think, let me take a look here.
So that 32 number that I got for that should be the lake management plans, that was based off of Spectacle Pond has a lake management plan that was done last year, and it cost them $29,100. And so I went what I thought was conservative and said, about 10%, we'll account for 10% inflationary costs on each of those items. They itemized it. And that's how I ended up with the 32 number. I don't have it in front of me right now. Is the 32 also on Forge's invasives? So I did originally have that one at 52. However, the Clean Lakes Committee let us know they already have 20,000 that can be allotted towards herbicide treatments over at Forge. So I originally had a 52, and I took it back to 32 because Forge does have more than Long Lake. So that's why it started out as requesting more for Forge, but that's why it's drawn back to 32.
Right, and that's noted on page 3 under your budget item. You do have comments on that.
Okay. I couldn't remember.
Yep. Okay, thank you. I know that is a lot of work to do those filings. Do any commissioners have any questions on either Forge?
Can we pause for 1 second?
Yeah, absolutely.
Not to be crass about it, but we just had a member of the CPC tell us maybe we should ask for a little more money. And we can always give it back. I'm in that case willing to ask for a few $1,000s more to make sure that we can do it the right way. Yep. I would suggest we push them each up, $3,000 to account for uncertainties and contingency. Essentially, a 10% contingency.
I'll have to do a little revising because we're requesting the funds under CPC, but we're also requesting these funds under our budget as well.
Okay.
And so I'll have to do some revisions there as well.
And Tim, I don't think it'll be an issue in terms of paperwork for tomorrow night. As long as we, just you'll do an amazing job presenting. These are very well put together. I don't see any issue with, hey, CPC, we're revising the amounts, that we're asking for, and we're bumping it up another 3,000 for contingencies. I don't think that'll be an issue at all.
Okay.
Somebody want to do the quick math so we know what these totals are? Because we have to have that in our vote. So Forge, we're at 32,000. You said you wanted to add 3 more?
Yeah, about a 10% contingency is usually right.
So we're going to go to 35,000. Amendment for Forge, and we're at 42 for Long. We're going to add another 3. So we're going to go to 45. So we've got 35 and 45.
Is the 45
Long Lake
for
is
the...
different than Forge?
Long Lake is 30.
I have them
Yeah.
the exact identical in the stuff that Tim sent.
One Long Lake
I've
shows
got
32.
Forge in my hand that says 32, and I've got Long that says 42.
I think that's for the management plan.
There's at least one more. that
The
shows
management plan
32.
Mine's saying herbicide treatment.
The management plan should be
You
the
just
same.
said, oh, okay.
Okay, the management plans are both 32.
Okay, so what I would
have the
like
Long
to
Lake
put
herbicide.
forth is that management and herbicide treatment for Forge both reflect the number of 35,000. And then both for Long Lake, the herbicide and the management plan both reflect the term of 45,000 for consistency. Is that correct?
I don't think.
I think the Long Lake herbicide is 32, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. Oh no. So it says 42 at the
looking
top,
it. It says 42.
but then at the bottom it does say 32. I think that's what was throwing us off here.
Was there an inconsistency?
Yeah. At the bottom for the breakdown, it's
On page, on page 4, Tim. That's correct. On page 4, it would be 45. So you just have to amend the first page and the 4th page for Long.
For the herbicide, but is the management plan 45 too, or is that's just the 32, right?
Yeah, both management
So
plans.
what Sarah just said wasn't quite right.
And Tim, just out of curiosity, have you approached MAPC or any like Magic or any of the groups to see roughly what a plan like this might cost, just in case? Because I know when we did open space, it was in the mid-30s a couple of years ago.
No, the lake management plan that I went off of was based off of. Well, initially I had actually spoke to somebody over at Solitude to just kind of gauge like, what are the costs for these things? Because at that point, I think I had 2 days to put together the budget when this was asked of me before submitting it, and so I was kind of scrambling, and I didn't have at that point any data to go off on the last few years of herbicide treatments done in town. There were older ones, so I was trying to use those costs from the older ones as well as talking to the Solitude representative. And then I had those initial costs, and then I found out that Spectacle Pond had the herbicide contract from last year, from 2025, and so those costs were taken from there. So I, having worked at the water department doing the invasive stuff, Forge and Spectacle Pond are pretty similar with how bad the invasives are there. I know that Long Lake is definitely in a much better shape. Sorry, are we talking about, I'm losing my train of thought. Are we talking about the herbicides or the lake management plan?
That's okay. The management plan. Sorry, it's late.
Apologies. So lake management plan, yeah, those numbers were taken specifically from Spectacle Pond's lake management plan. We're proposing to put together the same items as that one, except taking out, they had in there a line item for a herbicide monitoring program since they had the well over at Spectacle Pond. We took that out. That was the only one that was taken out. All the other ones come directly from that lake management plan, and all of those costs as well. and the extra 10% for the inflation.
Gotcha. Thank you.
So can we come back to the hard numbers and have someone make clear and concise motions? Let's do them one at a time. For the acceptance of Forge first of the two. Somebody want to do that? And then.
Oh, yeah. I'll make a motion that we approve Tim's application request for CPC funding for 2026 Forge Pond herbicide treatment. The price with a total value of $35,000.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All right, roll call vote. Sarah.
Sarah Seward, aye.
Ed.
Ed Foltz, aye.
Kyle.
Kyle Maxfield, aye.
Carl.
Carl Melberg, aye.
Chase.
Chase Gerbig, aye.
And myself, aye. It is unanimous.
Okay, Kyle, you're on a roll.
I will make a motion that we support the application for CPC funding for the 2026 Forge Pond Lake Management Plan with a total value of $35,000.
Do we have a second? Okay. Yep.
All right, roll call vote. Sarah.
Sarah Seward, aye.
Ed.
Ed Foltz, aye.
Kyle.
Kyle Maxfield, aye.
Carl.
Carl Melberg, aye.
Chase.
Chase Gerbig, aye.
And myself, aye. It is unanimous.
Okay, now going on to Long Lake.
Okay, I will make a motion that we support the application for CPC funding for the 2026 Long Lake herbicide application total that has a total value of $45,000.
Second.
All right, roll call vote. Sarah.
Sarah Seward, aye.
Ed.
Ed Foltz, aye.
Kyle.
Kyle Maxfield, aye.
Carl.
Carl Melberg, aye.
Chase.
Chase Gerbig, aye.
Myself, aye. It is unanimous.
Okay, I will make a motion that the Conservation Commission support the CPC application for the 2000 funding application for the 2026 Long Lake Management Plan with a total value of $35,000.
Second. And roll call vote. Sarah.
Sarah Seward, aye.
Ed.
Ed Foltz, aye.
Kyle.
Kyle Maxfield, aye.
Carl.
Carl Melberg, aye.
Chase.
Chase Gerbig, aye.
And myself, aye. It is once again unanimous. Losing my voice.
Okay, great. We're going to now move on to Northbridge groundwater monitoring site walk. Tim?
We actually have one before that. If you want to.
I added it on the Boy Scouts. Just go ahead with Northbridge.
Yeah, so I think it was, maybe a month or so, or maybe 2 months ago at this point, where I sent out an email out to you guys asking the folks at Northbridge threw around the idea of having a site walk and discussing the groundwater stuff out there on site. And I think I heard back from, maybe it was Kyle, who was in favor of it. But really just want to get a consensus from you guys. Is that something that we want to schedule once the, conditions are favorable? Or do you only want to see them back here at a meeting?
I'm on board if we can make something work.
Yeah, I think anytime we can get out, it's helpful.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if we can just try and circle around to some more dates, that would be great.
Sure.
Okay, Boy Scout land use permit, Troop 1.
That's me as the applicant, not as a commissioner. Scouts have done this the last couple of years, probably 15 boys or so at the top of Newtown Hill. This year's application is for one of 3 dates, either lost my calendar. Either I think it's the 31st of December, the 7th of February, or the
no, January. You said December.
January. I'm sorry. Thank you. Or the 28th of February. And that'll be weather dependent. Police and fire have signed off on it. The boys will follow leave no trace principles and so on. in an ideal world, I'd have one of them here with me, but they're actually at their scout meeting tonight, learning to use snowshoes. So, I get to represent them.
All right. Do we have a motion for that approval, please?
I move that we approve the land use permit request review for Scout Troop 1 camping on Newtown Hill for either January 31st or February, whatever the February date was.
7th or 28th.
So, yeah, February 28th. Thank you.
Okay. Do we have a second?
Second.
All right, roll call vote. Sarah?
Sarah Seward, aye.
Ed?
Ed Fultz, aye.
Kyle?
Maxfield, aye.
Carl?
Carl Melberg, aye.
Chase?
Chase Gerbig, abstain.
And
Very
myself,
much
I.
Hoping
So
that this weekend was not one of those dates, because you would teach them what to recover from frostbite.
Yeah, no kidding.
Okay, let's talk about Powers Road. Ed had requested an update. Tim, I don't know if you have anything.
Yeah, and so I reached out to John McGagan, gosh, back in, I think it was mid-November, to see if those plants ever went in, because I think his timeline was they were going to get in by the end of October. And he actually called when I was out of the office on Friday, and asked Lauren if I can give him a call back. So I'm not sure what he wanted to talk about, but I mean, I'll get an answer whether those plants are in for you, Ed. I mean, for everybody. But
we'll have a better update at the next meeting for future.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I just don't want this to drag. I want to find the end of this story.
Yeah.
Okay.
It is on my list. I couldn't get around to it today. I had other
No
stuff.
worries. You're busy. Okay. I think that is it. If somebody else can peer down the agenda, see if I missed anything. I don't think we had any other added discussion.
I think we're good.
Okay. Great. Do I have, it is 8:58. Do I have a motion to end this meeting?
I move that we end the meeting.
Second. All right, final roll call. Sarah?
Sarah Seward, aye, and good night.
Ed?
Ed Fultz, aye.
Kyle?
Oh, Maxfield, aye.
Carl?
Carl Melberg, and good night.
I like that. See, we should all do that next time. Chase.
Sorry, I didn't mean to start that.
Chase.
Chase Gerbig, aye.
And finally, myself, I, and good night.
There you go.
There we go.